Hello, my beautiful relatives, and welcome to my YouTube channel where we're going to dive deep into the healing of trauma of all types, especially racial trauma in underserved communities. My name is Carrie McCarthy. I'm a registered art therapist and licensed professional clinical counselor with 23 years of professional experience as a trauma expert and trauma survivor. I'm founder and CEO of Startup Art Therapy, committed to bringing Startup Art Therapy whole brain healing system into Native American tribal schools and all schools and juvenile detention centers across the U.S. to address the global mental health crisis and to provide proven solutions so we can heal together. And I'm so glad you guys are here with me because we are going to have quite a journey together. So please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And your support helps get more healing to more people who need it. So let's face it, we all need some healing, right? So April is National Minority Health Month. And in this video, we're going to be talking about minority health as I've lived on Native American reservations and have been working spiritually and professionally with many tribes around the country. And I've seen firsthand the health disparities that exist in minority health care, not just Native Americans, but across the spectrum of underserved minorities. I speak fluent Spanish, and I'm part of the Latino culture in Northern America, and Northern California, and I've seen with my own eyes the troubling health care that Latinos receive. And April is also National Stress Awareness Month, and I'll be talking about the negative impacts of stress from subpar healthcare in minority populations. So I've lived in a lot of different reservations in my 23 years of being an art therapist and devoting my career to reconstituting the First Nations people and helping them to heal. So one time living on a reservation in South Dakota and working with a big government agency, I witnessed several incidences where my patients didn't receive the health care that they needed and deserved. And one in particular was a woman I was treating for depression, and she was having severe seizures. And we had tried to get her into neurology at this big hospital that I was working at. And she never was able to get what we call purchase referred care, where she was getting a referral outside the hospital off reservation, and she never got that. And she, to this day, is debilitated, unable to drive. She's had several falls, knocking out all of her teeth, and she's my age. And I'm almost 52. And so I've seen so many things like this. Another patient of mine came in, he was an elder, a Lakota elder, and he was having sleep issues and couldn't breathe and had to sleep sitting up and started having health problems as a result. And we tried and tried because he wasn't in the correct county to receive free health care from the local hospital. They weren't going to pay for it. And as a result, he's almost 90 years old and has never received a sleep study or a CPAP machine and still suffers from sleep apnea, which is worsening his other physical symptoms. And I can't tell you how many times in my behavioral health office I had to postpone people's visits 2 months out because who were very suicidal, because my supervisor at the time said, no, sorry, you have to put these other people on your schedule. So these suicidal people didn't receive the treatment they needed. So it's very disheartening when we see the disparities that underserved populations and access to mental health and physical health care. It's very disheartening. And the problem is what we know about stress and the negative impacts that it has on physical and mental health, causing a variety of stress-related mental and physical illnesses, but also on the emotional side, mental health side, we can see anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. And minority communities experience higher rates of psychological distress, anxiety, and depression due to the cumulative effects of discrimination, prejudice, and socioeconomic stressors. So these mental health disparities are further exacerbated by limited access to medical and mental health resources and stigma surrounding mental illness within minority communities. So the interplay between stress and health disparities extends way beyond the individual level to impact communities, entire communities and generations, because chronic stress experienced by parents can have epigenetic effects on their offspring and their children, predisposing them to health disparities later in life. So also, additionally, the cumulative burden of stress can perpetuate the cycles of poverty, inequity, and poor health outcomes within minority communities. So, addressing the negative impacts of stress on health disparities among minorities requires a multifaceted approach that addresses the root cause of stress while also improving access to quality healthcare, resources, and emotional support networks. And initiatives aimed at reducing systematic inequalities, promoting health equity, and fostering resilience within minority communities are essential steps toward mitigating the detrimental effects of stress and building healthier and more equitable societies for all. And so this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've worked with a big government agency and seen the failures of the system. And these were big systems that were put in place because of Native American treaties that were signed saying that the Native American people would receive free health care for life. But that didn't exactly happen. They might have free health care, but it is subpar health care. So what can we do about it? We can lobby your local government and say, hey, we need to be putting more money into socialized medicine or into tribal hospitals, things like that, and making sure that there are qualified people out there that are working in these very remote rural places. One time I was working at on a very rural reservation in this big agency, and there was a huge scandal where we found out that one of the doctors who had been there for 20, 30 years had molested dozens and dozens of young boys on the reservation. And I had actually had those young boys who were then adults come back and tell me that they had been molested by their healthcare provider. So there are so many facets of how underserved minorities do not get the best healthcare and how we can help mitigate this as non-Native or non-Latino people. I'm a Spanish speaker fluently, and I am very ingratiated in the Latino communities here in Northern California. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen undocumented people go to the clinics and be turned away because they can't pay for healthcare, and they have severely debilitating physical and mental health issues. So it's really something that needs to be addressed. So this YouTube channel is about providing solutions. And even though we can't go out and turn the healthcare system around, I really wanted to talk about this because April being the National Minority Health Month, as well as being the National Stress Awareness Month, showing the impacts and the interconnection of the two, and one begets the other, is really important to demonstrate this, and to also end these really heavy topics with something that's going to be really helpful to mitigating the stress level. So, as an art therapist, I want to provide each and every one of you with a little art therapy technique to mitigate your stress, to reduce stress, to get it out of your body. So I just want you to plant your feet right on the floor where you are, sitting up straight where you are. It could be in your bed, but grab a piece of paper, grab a chalk pastel, oil pastel, a marker, something, a crayon, and find the color that best represents you're feeling right now in a stressful feeling. And take a deep breath down through your entire torso, down to your toes. And keep this deep breathing going. And begin to just take your crayon or whatever you have and start drawing, just scribbling on this piece of paper that you have. Scribble and scribble and feel this stress. Feel anxiety, whatever it is that does not belong to you, that does not belong to your body, and let it move through your body onto the paper. That's it. Yes. Feeling that stress with each breath, releasing until you don't feel it anymore. Breathing into all the areas of tension that you hold in your body. One more deep breath, letting it out. And then you're going to take your paper and you're going to rip it up into little pieces and take it to the garbage, or you can take it outside and bury it in the earth and let it go. Ritualize this act of just letting this stress go. And this is just one symbolic act that we can do that really helps us to regulate our own emotional state. So when we don't have access to proper mental health or medical care, we can be our own pharmacy, as Joe Dispenza says, and we can self-direct our own neuroplasticity, and we can regulate our own emotional state and neurochemical state to be able to come into a state of harmony within ourselves, no matter what is happening on the exterior. So I hope that you will all join me on this YouTube channel, where we're going to have a lot of interviews from tribal members of Native American, Indigenous populations, Latinos, and different people of all races, cultures. And that's what my aim is here, is to help us understand what each other is going through and how we can best support, and giving them voice to say what they need to say. So I'm so glad that you're here with me. Please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and come with me on this mission to heal the people and heal the planet.